Thank you. I'm also really appreciate being here on this very distinguished panel. I also want to support what Paolo did and look at the strength of Europe, but because, as he said, we are still here. But before, I wanted to have a look at the geoeconomic environment where the EU finds itself. So you mentioned that, Ivana. First of all, we have a conflictual environment with increasing wars, conflicts, and crisis. And on the European continent, we have the largest war since Second World War because of the unprovoked Russian aggression on Ukraine. When we look at the economic side, we see an increasing rivalry, strategic rivalry between the United States and China, where both sides, and I really want to stress this, are using their market as a lever to achieve strategic goals in international relations. We, as Europe, find ourselves squeezed between a coercive Chinese trade policy. When you look at export restrictions on rare earths, they were just intensified in October, and between a protectionist US trade policy, which no longer distinguishes between rivals and allies. So the EU is squeezed between both. And in this kind of environment, we do have a problem that trade and economics can no longer be distinguished from security concerns. We have a securitization of economic topics. And this is where we have a difficulty as Europe, because we have unanimous decisions in security. That said, and I think Paolo also stressed this yesterday, we managed to have 19 sanctions packages against Russia. So even though we have a unanimous position, we managed to move forward. But my point is in trade. The EU is really a very attractive player in trade until today. We have more than 80 free trade agreement, association agreement, and partnership agreement. Because we are an attractive partner, we not only have a common market, we adhere to the rule of law, we are predictable, we are transparent, and we want transparent and rules-based partnerships with other countries. So in addition to the almost 80 agreements that we have a lot of partners who want to negotiate with us. And in the ASEAN region, in Latin America, that was mentioned, EU, Mercosur. We have many countries that are really looking forward to partnerships with the EU until today. So the way forward is not with the United States, not with China, but with a lot of countries that are part of the global south, if I may say so, with Brazil, with Indonesia, with all these countries who want to adhere to the rule of law, because this is in the character of the EU. I think the importance is Europe needs to be attractive. And I think we can do that because we have a large common market. And what you said, we have value-based action, and we are rules-based. And I think we cannot underestimate the importance and power of rules that we have established in Europe. So when you look at the digital sphere, we have the Digital Markets Act, we have the Digital Services Act, and even though it might sometimes go too far, it is the basis for a rules-based get-together. There's no coercion, there's no power-based, you know the rules and you know the transparency. So what Europe needs to do first to be attractive and to be an attractive partner is to have its own economic strength. And I think you mentioned that, the Draghi report, the Letta report. We have a lot of reforms ahead of us to deepen the common market and to deepen the understanding that we have. We also need to invest more strategically. I think you mentioned that we, especially Germany, believed that the market will rule everything. So we had energy dependence of Russia, which we did not think was a problem. But now we see that trade and energy can be weaponized. So we need to think more strategically, invest into our own resources, also regarding raw materials and rare earth, because we see that's another conflict that's coming up. And the last point that I want to make, as Europe, we need partners. And we need partners who support the rules-based system together with us. Because I think Anna mentioned that several times, rules are the opposite of power-based relationship. And we want to have this kind of rule-based relationship. I think Europe is in a good position here. We established a lot of rules. Yes, we need reforms, but I think this is the basis to move forward. Also in new technologies, and AI, all the subjects that you mentioned.